Hi guys, welcome to this week's show. And happy Mother's Day, all the mothers out there. This week's show, I wanted to answer one question, and I had some other things I was going to talk about, but this came in at the same time that I found this site on YouTube, and I just wanted to put them together. The question was from Jeanette in Oklahoma, and she wants to know, I saw a new show on A&E about kids, psychic kids. What do you think? And how does it compare to your childhood? And I know exactly what show she's talking about. Unfortunately, I don't remember the name of it, so I apologize. It's probably called Psychic Kids or something like that. And first, let me go back. How it compares to me, totally different, because of course you're looking at completely different timelines. I mean, I was a child of the 60s and 70s. So, this wasn't, and living, I was born and raised in South Florida. So living here and having this gift wasn't, whoa, look at it, your kid's got a gift, like it is now. It's not like that. My parents, I think, especially my mother, I think she was afraid for me. She was afraid of how people would treat me and all of that. Fear for your child, for their well-being. And so what do I think about the shows today? I think they're fabulous. I think they give you, well, okay. I don't like the quote entertainment part, because I think they're trying to sell television, and they're trying to make it creepy and really out there, and to me it's not. To me it's just quite simple, and I know that's my perspective as a medium, but I think it's great because there are, I have a lot of clients who come to me because their child has this gift and they don't know how to deal with it, or they don't know what to do for their child. And luckily, most parents today, they're more open to it. Yes, there are always going to be those who aren't, but the majority, compared to when I was a child, it's very open, and this is just normal. This is a part of life. You just didn't shut that part of you down, and you allowed the other side to stay with you, to keep that connection. And most parents are very open like that. This site that I found, actually I found it on YouTube, and then I found their website, and it's called kidparanormal.com. And it's called Kid Paranormal, and they have a YouTube video. And it's totally educational. It's not like me coming here and just talking about things. They do some pretty darn good videos, and they really try and give you the spooky perspective of it, but they also try and give you the real perspective of it. So check that out. I really, really like that site. There's some great information. And to parents out there, don't get freaked out. I mean, you can get freaked out on the inside, but don't let your child see that you're freaked out. Because what happens is, and I can tell you from experience, when you upset your parent because you have something, and you have to understand, you don't know why you have this as a child. It's just an innate part of you. And when your parent freaks out, it's like there's something wrong with you. And honest to God, there is nothing wrong with that child. Know that right now. There is nothing wrong with that child. We all are very open to the other side until we start being taught that, our imaginary friend is just that. They don't exist. It's all in our head. And, yes, sometimes we do have imaginary friends. But for the most part, when they're saying things and they're being detailed in their imaginary friend, don't blow them off. Don't push them down. Don't put your fears on top of them, because that's what parents do. It's like, I can't deal with it, so you're wrong. That's wrong. You need to just say, okay, fine, and take a step aside and go, okay, God, what do I do about this? Is my child insane? What does my child need? Who can help this child? And I have to tell you from experience, a lot of children, they don't hang on to their connection to the other side. They get very steeped in the physical world and their mission here and what it is they've come to accomplish. So, as a parent, just from a child's perspective, from, you know, someone who grew up with, you know, parents who they weren't freaked about what I did or that I was able to do this. I think in my mother's case, she was more upset that I would be ridiculed for what I did. And that, you know, I remember her telling me as a teenager that when I was younger, she was fearful that she would go out front and find a stake burning in her front yard. Just because that was the perception of the people at the time. You know, this was not normal. This was of the devil. And I'm here to tell you it's not. It's of God. It is totally of God. Because you have to have extreme faith to go against the grain with your own belief. You know, I believe I was given this gift for a reason. I believe that as a child I didn't lose this for a reason. And, you know, 48 years later, I can see that. I can see why I still have this gift, and I'm continually evolving with my gift. You know, you don't just stop. Just because I can see the other side doesn't mean I stop. It's just like, oh, okay, I can do that. Well, no, I have things to do. Like, obviously God gave me this gift for a reason, so there's something I need to do throughout my life. My life continues to evolve, and the same as a child. You know, ask your child, does it bother you? Does it scare you? Because 9 times out of 10, they will say no. Like that person on the other side does not bother them at all. It doesn't scare them. It's kind of discerning, or it's kind of annoying at times. That's a good word. As a child, sometimes it's annoying because you don't know how to turn off the other side. And first of all, you have to understand that it's not the child turning it on. Okay, it's not the other side showing up and just kind of like, hello, you know, it's not them getting in your way, because they exist whether you see them or not. Just because we see them doesn't mean they're not next to you, a person who doesn't see them. You know, they exist right next to us in their dimension. And the hardest part as a child is learning how to turn that off, to not see them, or to tell yourself, okay, they're just there, and ignore them. That's kind of how you start to turn them off, is you start to ignore them. But you don't want to ignore them all the time, because, you know, if they're like in your face, there's a reason for it. You know, just kind of like get the message out and just move on. That's what I tell kids. And then you're not having that fear. And the hardest thing to teach children is to not take on their parents' fear, because children are so sensitive. They absorb negative energy from those that they love, not necessarily the negative energy out here, but from the people that they love, especially their parents. And so if they know their parents are freaked out by what they have and are just kind of like over there in the corner and want no part of it, that hurts them. That hurts them. That makes them feel like, well, what am I here for? Why am I here? You know, that's how a lot of people get, you know, screwed up. And eventually they find their way back. But obviously, if you're born into this family, you were there to teach them things. And I have to tell you, at my age, I can look back on my life and see where I have taught my family members things. Not that they haven't taught me things too, they sure have. But, you know, through my abilities, that I've been able to teach them things. So, you know, God bless the sites out there now that, you know, are about kids. You know, if you're a kid and you want to know, Google it. You know, Google kids paranormal and see what comes up. I'm sure that one site will come up, but see what else you can figure out. And God bless all the children who have come here, because, you know, there are going to be more of me than you have ever seen in your entire life. God bless.